Hey everyone, welcome to the newest episode of the Geek Report. This episode will cover the weeks of May 4th through May 18th, 2026. Now let's see what happened in the world of movies, anime, and gaming these past 2 weeks.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing good. Hope you all are doing happy, doing blessed, doing safe, and doing well. Welcome to your newest episode of the Geek Report. This is for the weeks of May 4th through May 18th of 2026. And we got a few news items to talk about. So we're going to start off in our movie and TV segment. First off, we got news that the Legend of Zelda live action movie has been moved up by 1 week to April 30th, 2027. And then in our second news story, we talked about the fact that Ashoka, the Star Wars series, that season 2 of that show has been delayed until 2027. Then we moved on into our anime news segment. And we talked about the new My Hero Academia spin-off special, I Am a Hero 2, that's going to focus on one of the most tragic characters in the My Hero Academia series, Eri. Okay? And I kind of talked about what I felt about it and overall what I thought about it. And then we ended things in our gaming segment. And we talked about the new Starfox being announced for Nintendo Switch. I gave you a look at the trailer and told you overall what I thought about it. So, sit back, relax, grab yourself something to eat, grab yourself something to drink, and let's look at the Geek Report for the weeks of May the 4th through May the 18th of 2026.
Now, let's begin our Geek Report in our TV and movie segment. So, let's see what big news dropped in the past 2 weeks in the world of TV, movies, and anime.
So, starting off this episode of the Geek Report, we're going to start off in our movie and TV segment. And we got some news that kind of concerns me a little bit, okay? Now, as many of y'all know, Nintendo announced that they are making a Legend of Zelda movie. And I'm all down with that. They are making a live-action Legend of Zelda movie, and it's coming out next year. This past 2 weeks, though, we got news that instead of the Legend of Zelda movie coming out in early May, it is going to be coming out in late April. They are moving it up by a week. Okay. Originally, it was going to come out on May the 7th. But now it is coming out on May the 30th, 2027. And this has got me kind of concerned a little bit. Okay. Now, this here is the story over on Polygon. And it says here that Nintendo's Legend of Zelda movie has a new release date. That Shigeru Miyamoto, he has created Zelda, he created Mario, he helped make Nintendo what it is. Announced that the live-action Legend of Zelda movie will be released April 30th, 2027, a week earlier than previously planned. Okay? And there's his statement right here. It says, that the theatrical release for the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda has been moved up on the official X account, and the team is working hard to deliver the film to everyone as soon as possible. There's less than a year to go until release, so thank you for waiting. Okay. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm concerned about this. First off, recently Nintendo has had some pretty big successes in the movie realm. They had a huge success with the Super Mario Brothers movie, and they had a huge success with the Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. Okay? Both of those were great movies for their audience. Okay? I'm not really into that type of animation, but overall, they were great movies. Okay? For their audience. And their core audience was either people who remember Zelda from, or I should say Mario, who remember Mario from back in the day, and kids. Okay? Let's just be honest. That's the core audience of the Mario movies, is nostalgia and kids. Okay? But I'm worried that Nintendo might be getting a little drunk on success. Okay? Because I don't want them to rush Legend of Zelda. Okay? Because all it takes is for one misstep, for one thing to go wrong in the Legend of Zelda movie. Okay? And it's complete trash. And I don't want that. Okay? So I'm kind of concerned about them moving the release date up a little bit. Okay? I know it's still over, well, it's almost a year away. Okay? I understand that. Okay? As of the recording of this video, it was almost a year away. Now it's not. Okay? It's a little under a year away. But I still would have preferred if they had just kept the May 7th trailer announcement. If they had just kept it at May 7th for the live action movie. Okay. I know that that's really close to May the 4th and Star Wars Day and all that. But that extra week could have been used if something goes wrong. And I'm kind of concerned about this because I don't want them getting drunk on success. I don't want them thinking they can do no wrong, and then they come out with this garbage movie. And I'm not saying Zelda is garbage, okay? But they come out with a garbage movie because they rushed it out the door. And then any type of hope for a Nintendo movie collection or whatever goes out the window with it, okay? So, while I am happy on one hand that it is coming a little early, I am concerned that Nintendo may be getting drunk on their success a little bit and trying to rush things out before they're ready. Okay? And honestly, if he pushed it back to May the 7th or even later in the year, I would be happy. Because I want them to take all the time they need to get this right. Okay? Because I love Zelda. You know, my favorite Zelda game has always been A Link to the Past. Okay? I don't have a Nintendo Switch or a Switch 2, so I can't play any of the more recent Zelda games. But A Link to the Past is the GOAT. Okay? It's the king of all Zelda games. Okay? No matter who you ask, no matter where you go, it's the king. Okay? I'm really am wanting them to do a good job on a live action Zelda movie. Okay? And I don't want them to rush it out. And that's really my concern, is that they are going to rush this out because either the fans want it or the studio wants it or whatnot. And mistakes are going to be made, and it's not going to be as good as it could have been. Okay? But going back to this news, the new Legend of Zelda movie has been moved up. It is now releasing on April the 30th, 2027 from May 7th of 2027. And like I said before, I am a little concerned. But before I get too concerned, we need to see a decent trailer. We need to see a proper trailer for this movie. And I really hope that when that does happen, that, you know, we're not disappointed in what we're getting with the Legend of Zelda live-action movie.
Continuing on with the news from TV, movies, and anime from the past 2 weeks.
Now, continuing on with our movie and TV news, we got some news out of the world of Star Wars. And I'm not going to really talk a lot about this bit of news because there is a lot going on with Lucasfilm and Star Wars right now. Okay? First off, you have the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is gone and that Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan have now taken over the day-to-day operations of Star Wars and of Lucasfilm. Okay? You have the rumors surrounding the sequel trilogy being removed from the official timeline. Okay? They're talking about retconning the sequel trilogy. Okay? And what you have here is just another piece of what's all going on with Star Wars. And what I'm talking about is the fact that basically Ashoka ain't coming out till early 2027. Now, Ashoka already had season 1. And I know a lot of people didn't like season 1. I honestly enjoyed season 1. Okay. I thought season 1 was pretty good. Okay. It was not horrible by any stretch of the imagination. It was not god awful or anything like that. It was not Acolyte level bad. Now they're saying that Ahsoka will not premiere this year like it was originally supposed to. That it's going to premiere in 2027, early 2027. And this is just one thing on the pile of things that are going on with Star Wars. So, just to kind of recap what's all going on with Star Wars. First off, you got the fact that they've got new leadership. We're talking about Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan. Okay? Basically, Kathleen Kennedy is gone. And the people she brought with her are still there, but now Dave Filoni is running the creative side of things, and Lin Brennan is running the financial side of things. Then you got all these rumors popping up saying how the sequel trilogy is going to be removed from official canon. That for all this time, The Mandalorian and Grogu, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, all these shows have been leading into the sequel trilogy, okay? Now, I didn't like the sequel trilogy, still don't like the sequel trilogy. There are people out there who try to get me to like the sequel trilogy. I just don't like it, okay? I thought The Force Awakens was okay. They could have done better, but they lost me at The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, okay? I'm just going to be honest, all right? And there are people out there, people I care for and know, who try to get me to see The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker differently. And every time I watch it, I just hate it, okay? I just hate it, all right? They lost me at The Last Jedi, okay? But without going too far into Rantville, all the series are supposed to be leading into the sequel trilogy. And the sequel trilogy is bad, but you've got gems in the rough, like the first season of The Mandalorian, second season of The Mandalorian, the return of Luke Skywalker on the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian. You've got Skeleton Crew, which looked pretty awesome, and even Ahsoka looked good. Okay, it wasn't perfect. It could have been so much better, so much deeper, and they made a lot of mistakes on it. But yeah, I thought Ahsoka could have been a better show in season 1, okay? But overall, I still enjoyed it. So not only do you got new leadership, not only do you got the rumors about the whole retconning the sequel trilogy, removing it from canon. And like I said right now, they're still rumors, okay? I'm not going to sit here and tell you they've been confirmed, but they're still rumors. On top of that, you got something that recently happened in Disney World. So at Disney World in Florida and California, they have different lands, okay, for their properties. They've got a place for Marvel and so forth. They also have a Star Wars land called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Well, they had a story going around for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And the story did not include the original trilogy characters. Luke, Leia, Han could not be there. Chewbacca could not be there. Boba Fett could not be there. Okay? Recently, those characters started showing up at Galaxy's Edge. Okay? They started showing up. So, you've got the fact that you've got new leadership. You've got the fact that the sequel trilogy is being retconned. You got the fact that they are taking a property that was only meant for, like, the sequel trilogy people, okay? For fans of the sequel trilogy. And now they're bringing in the original trilogy characters into this area, okay? And then there's all the other stuff, like rumors of shows and people leaving shows and all that. And Ahsoka Season 2 being pushed back to early 2027. is just another thing on a pile of stuff that honestly tells me that there are massive changes coming to Lucasfilm. That we are currently in a huge shift at Lucasfilm. Okay. And I think the whole reason behind the fact that they pushed it back to 2027 is not only to do reshoots, but I think they need time to kind of get their house in order. Because I'm not sitting here saying that they're going to retcon the sequel trilogy. Although it would not surprise me. Okay. But I think they need time to get their house in order. Because Ahsoka was the only Star Wars show left that come out this year. Okay? So you're talking from now until sometime early 2027. So you're talking January, February, March of 2027 before the next Star Wars live action series comes out on Disney Plus. Now, of course, we got The Mandalorian Grogu that's about to come out in a couple of weeks. But as far as TV shows, she was the last live action Star Wars show to come out this year. And now she's been pushed back to 2027. So I think what's going on is, I think after The Mandalorian Grogu, it was probably finished enough to where they could finish it. We are going to see some drastic and incredible changes at Lucasfilm. I think the whole reason they pushed Ahsoka to 2027 is so they would have enough time to get their house in order. Because I'm seriously starting to wonder if maybe when Kathleen Kennedy left, she didn't leave them with a insurmountable task. And that was putting what she broke, what she destroyed with the sequel trilogy, with the Acolyte, even with all the other choices she made, that she left Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan a huge task of trying to rebuild what she broke. Okay? And it's going to take several months for them to do that. Okay? Now, it would not surprise me if they did retcon the sequel trilogy. I think that would be a good start. But I think it would also depend on what their idea for a sequel trilogy would be. Okay? And I have my own thoughts and concerns about the sequel trilogy being retconned and stuff. And until I get more information, I'm not going to sit here and say, yes, that's what they're doing. But I did want to talk about Ahsoka because they are pushing her season 2 back till 2027. And it is just one more thing on the pile of stuff that's going on at Lucasfilm. And I really do think that things are in a state of flux at Lucasfilm and at Star Wars to the point where they had to push her back. Okay? And if they're pushing her back, okay, it's probably to do reshoots, okay, to get things lined up. But it's also probably so they can get their house in order. But I did want to read a part of this, and it said here that the wait for Star Wars Ahsoka has gotten even longer due to lengthy development and filming cycle of big-budget live-action sci-fi series. Many expected Season 2 would take some time, with the release window largely to be believed to be in 2026. I heard it was supposed to be either summer or fall of 2026. Okay? But now we know that ain't happening. It says here, 3 years after Season 1, while a long wait, this would be perfectly timed for the franchise return to the big screen with The Mandalorian and Grogu, a feature-length spin-off of the Disney Plus series. Okay, and then it continues on down here, and it says, created by Dave Filoni, Ahsoka is set after the events of Return of the Jedi, in the same time period as The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Skeleton Crew. The series centers on an adult Ahsoka reuniting with various characters from Star Wars Rebels to find the former Imperial officer Grand Admiral Thrawn. Season 1 ran from August 22nd to October 3rd and was ranked in the Nielsen's top 10 during this run, though the series reception was mixed. Like I said before, it could have been better. It should have been better, but it was still okay. And to be quite honest with you, it was one of those series that felt like it was made by two different people, because there was a particular point in that series where it felt completely different. Okay, it was one of those series that felt like that. Okay, so they're now saying that she ain't coming out with a season 2 until 2027. Right here it says, despite, and if I can ever get it right, despite this month's Mandalorian Grogu and Ahsoka being Star Wars titles, Lucasfilm is holding off on unleashing the Disney Plus series. At the Disney Upfront event, and let me kind of explain what an upfront event is, okay? So if you don't know what an upfront event is, basically producers like Disney, Paramount, they'll get their series and they'll tell the advertisers, hey, this is what the series is all about. We're giving you a chance to buy commercial airtime up front before the new season begins. What this does is this gives a little extra money to the series, show, movie, whatever, so that way they can keep on making the rest of the series without really cutting into their bottom line, okay? As you can see here, it says an upfront event is an annual gathering where major television networks and streaming platforms showcase their upcoming programming to advertisers. And it says here they're usually held in New York City. And it says here, network streamers and media companies host lavish presentations to generate buzz and reveal their slate of new shows, returning favorites, and live sports. Following the presentation, advertisers and media buyers negotiate and commit billions of dollars to guarantee ad spots for the upcoming broadcast year. For decades, the upfront market functioned as a way to lock in commercial inventory well in advance. Because TV advertising space is often limited, advertisers compete to secure premium slots on popular shows to ensure their brand reaches a wide audience. Okay, so basically, it's a time for these advertisers, you know, like Tide and Soda and all that, to guarantee their spot on the show's commercials. Okay, and by doing so, they basically pay down those spots automatically. But it ain't just like where you pay it down and you get your spot. You're competing against, you know, a million other companies who are looking to basically get their ad on the show. Okay? So it's kind of like an auction for ad space. All right? But anyway, it's continuing here. It said, at the upfront event, Rosario Dawson, who plays Ahsoka, confirmed that Ahsoka Season 2 will not return until early 2027. No specific release date was given. It's like I said before. Something, I think I don't know how else to say this, but with everything going on with Disney, and that's why I'm not going to be talking a lot about this, is because there is so much going on with Disney right now. Everything is in flux at Disney. New leadership. Ahsoka being held back. You know, no shows for the rest of 2026. So you're talking a good couple of months of no new Star Wars programming, or at least live action programming. Characters showing up at Galaxy's Edge. I think what's going on here, this is not a case of just them doing reshoots. I think this is a case of them trying to get their house in order and knowing which direction they're going to go before bringing out a new series. I think the Mandalorian Grogu movie was already well enough done by the time this change in leadership happened. They just figured, okay, we're just going to bring out the Mandalorian Grogu. But I think over the next couple of months, they're probably going to be making huge decisions about what to do with Star Wars. Okay? And that's why I'm not really going to talk about it a whole lot. I know I've been talking for about 16 minutes about this. But, like, I think this is not a case of reshoots. I think this is a case of them getting their house in order so that way they know which direction they're going to go and then do the reshoots. Okay? But back to what I was saying. Ahsoka Season 2 will not return until 2027. And I think it is an indication that some type of rearranging and getting their house in order situation is happening at both Star Wars and Lucasfilm.
Now let's move on from the world of TV and movies to the world of anime. So let's take a look at the anime news that piqued my interest these past 2 weeks.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before I leave our movie and TV segment, I want to transition over into anime. And we got some anime news that I think is going to make a lot of people happy. So, I was a huge fan of My Hero Academia. Okay? I absolutely loved the anime, and it recently ended. Okay? And while I didn't get to see Deku or Uravity, get married, while I didn't get to see who Bakugo got together with or anything like that, I think overall, especially with the new special episode called More that they just released, I think it ended on a high note. Okay. But one of the more tortured characters on My Hero Academia was the little girl, Eri. Okay. I felt for this girl, man. Because, she was tortured by her own family. Her ability basically removed her father forever. Okay? And every person besides Deku and, the class of UA High School treated her like nothing more than a weapon. And her power was Rewind, where she could rewind someone back to a previous state. And she in one of the earlier seasons of My Hero Academia, her blood was used to basically remove quirks from superheroes. Okay? And that's why she was tortured so much. It was because of this superpower, this quirk. Well, at the end of the series, she came to terms with her power. But we saw a glimpse of her, and she chose not to be a hero, but instead tried to live a normal life as what appears to be a musician. Okay? And I think we all know where that came from. Alright? I think we all know that came from the concert that the students of Class 1A put on. Alright? Well, now she is getting her own special. And it's called I Am a Hero 2. Okay? And this is said to be just a 30-minute, maybe even a 20-minute short to give her character closure. Okay? Which I'm all for. Because I believe that if anyone deserves closure, deserves a happy ending, it's that little girl, Eri. So, coming over here from Screen Rant, you go down here, and it says here, this special project celebrates the 10th anniversary of the My Hero Academia anime, serving as a directed adaptation of Koei Horikoshi's latest manga, My Hero Academia Ultra Age. Aside from the title and the main premise, very little has been revealed thus far. However, even without an official trailer, fans remain highly excited for this upcoming release. And here you see Eri, and she's at the concert of Class 1A, and you love to see her smile because at the end of the concert, as they're doing the song I'm a Hero 2, you see all the trauma she's gone through, all the pain she's gone through, kind of bleed off her, and she smiles. Okay? And she laughs, and she's being a girl instead of being used as a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Going down here, it says, My Hero Academia's upcoming special, titled I'm a Hero 2, will follow Eri as she finds her own path following the events of the Final War, which was basically the last season of My Hero Academia. Although the premise sounds exciting, there's a little source material to adapt into a 24-minute episode. And it says here, the original story from Ultra Age fan book spans a mere 5 pages, which really ain't a whole lot for, a 20 or 30-minute episode. It simply features Eri visiting UA to invite Deku to her very first street concert. Should the studio choose a strict adaptation similar to the more recent More episode, the special will only run about 5 minutes. So obviously they're going to add some more to it. Okay. So I think they're going to add a lot to it. And I think if anyone deserves a happy ending, okay, it's Eri. And when they do this episode, she's supposed to be a teenager, okay? And she has chosen the path of not being a hero like Deku or the rest of Class 1A. She's chosen to live a normal life and follow the life of a musician, okay? Which I'm all down for. Okay, she has seen enough darkness in her life to last 1,000 lifetimes. But I'm glad we're getting a special about Eri. I'm glad we're going to give her some type of official closure. And I'm glad that they are doing this. Okay. Now, it doesn't say when it's going to premiere. So, it doesn't say when she's going to have her episode. But I personally can't wait to see it because I think if anyone deserves a happy ending, it's Eri. She's seen enough darkness in her life. It's time for her to end in the light. And that's just the way I feel.
Now moving on, let's move on to this episode's video game segment. So, let's see what news dropped in the past 2 weeks in the world of video games.
Now, transitioning from our anime news to our gaming news, let's get into our final news story. And that news story is, of course, the announcement of Starfox coming on the Switch 2. So, I honestly am surprised by this. And I'm going to explain why. Because I thought that if they were going to do any type of game for the Switch 2, it would first be Metroid. Okay? I mean, Samus is well known by more people than Starfox is. But I think what changed was his appearance in the more recent Super Mario Galaxy movie. Okay? I think that's really what changed things in terms of them bringing Starfox first. Okay? Now, for those who don't know, Starfox was a sci-fi flight shooter that basically puts you in the cockpit of a spaceship piloted by Starfox, okay, but who goes by the name of Fox McCloud, as you try and defeat this bad guy who's trying to take over your neck of the woods, your solar system, okay? His name is Andros, and he's trying to take over your solar system, basically, okay? So let's take a look at the trailer for Starfox, coming out on June 25th on the Nintendo Switch 2. And I will give you some of my own thoughts and opinions behind this upcoming release. But this here is the official trailer for Starfox for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, for those who don't know, in the original Starfox and in the lore and story of Starfox, going as far back as the Nintendo 64, he helps protect Planet Cornelia, which is in Lilac system. So this is kind of his home world system, okay?
Atmospheric entry complete. Extend the wings.
Alright. Already he's looking good, okay? He didn't look like this in the original, and I haven't played any of the remakes that have come out since then, but already he's looking really good, Okay, I mean he looks like a fox in a spacesuit. Okay, so I'm already liking what I'm seeing here.
G-diffuser systems check. Sound off, team.
Slippy here. So far, so good.
This is Peppy. All systems go.
Falco here. G-diffuser seems fine. Let's go already.
Enemy
Okay, so they're already bringing back his old squad mates. In the original Starfox that I remember playing back, let's see, it was in the Nintendo 64, I played it. He had these same teammates. You know, if we can go back here.
Good.
This is
Okay, that person right there was a friend of his father's, and many times he would mention that in the mission, how you saved him like his dad did, or he saved you like he did for Star Fox's father. See, in the 64 version, as well as what it looks like in this version, Fox McCloud's father went missing on a mission to Planet Venom to find out what Andross was doing. And he went down and he was shot down. So he survived, okay? And now he's working with his former friend's son, Fox McCloud, who we saw earlier as the Fox, you know, keeping Cornelia free and safe. So I'm already liking that they are trying to stick to the lore.
Peppy. All systems go.
Falco here. G-diffuser seems fine. Let's go already.
enemy targets up ahead. Let's rock and roll!
What you're seeing is footage of the game in action. While stage layouts have been kept the same, the visuals have received a major upgrade.
Okay, so this is basically just a remake of 64, but they have upgraded the visuals. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to keep the same secret paths, or if they're going to do new ones. I'm kind of curious about that, because in the original Star Fox 64, there were multiple paths you could take in the game to get to the final boss. Okay, so I'm kind of wondering how they're going to do that. Are they going to let you find these paths on your own, or are they going to be just available to you no matter how you finish the game, how you finish each level?
Slippy, stay in formation.
Banter between characters is also back.
Now you've done it, Slippy. Bogey on your tail.
Cover me while I fine-tune my sensors. Oh, you got him? Thanks, Fox.
We need your help, Starfox.
Hey there, General. You seem a little on edge. But as it happens, my team's available.
So, that's Fox McCloud. Okay, he's like the main character of any Star Fox game. Okay, and he was also in Super Mario Galaxy, but he's not being voiced by the same person who's voicing this Fox McCloud.
Is Fox McCloud, leader of the Star Fox Mercenary Squad.
Prep the R-Wings. We've got a job to do, Star Fox. We're gonna take the system back from Andross, one planet at a time.
Falco Lombardi is their ace pilot and Fox's rival.
Sounds perfect. There's no way Andross would expect us to launch an assault there. You up for another challenge, Fox?
Scans are showing unidentified energy emanating from within.
Slippy Toad is the team's engineer extraordinaire.
Now here's the thing. In the 64 version, it seemed like Slippy was getting in trouble all the time. I hope they change that. Okay? In the old versions of Star Fox, Slippy was always getting into trouble. And it seemed like you had to save him every 5 minutes. So I really hope they change that, where they do make Slippy not get into trouble as much as they did in the old games.
Incredible! Do you realize how rare it is to experience a stable warp channel? Did you see the distortions?
That base is the gateway to the wider system, Fox.
And Peppy Hare is their strategic mastermind and veteran pilot.
Advance into enemy space. Just this. Hit 'em quick and hit 'em hard.
The fate of the Lilat system rests squarely on their shoulders. The R-Wing.
All right, now they're still keeping the same type of ships you flew in the original Star Fox. This is the R-Wing. It's your starfighter.
Is a high-performance aerospace fighter piloted by Fox and his crew. It's equipped with a laser. It can also fire charged shots or launch bombs that cover a wide area. The R-Wing can brake, boost, do a barrel roll to repel enemy fire, and even somersault.
So they're basically keeping the same moveset they had before. Okay, those have been staples of the Star Fox series since the 64 days, since the Nintendo 64 days. So they're basically keeping the same moveset.
Besides the R-Wing, an agile ground assault vehicle called the Landmaster and a modified exploratory submersible called the Blue Marine can also be piloted, depending on the mission.
So basically, it's just a rehash of the older Star Fox games, because the Master and the Blue Marine were both in, I think, the last Star Fox game that came out. So yeah, it's basically that, but with upgraded visuals and what looks to be upgraded sound design and upgraded characters.
Impressive work, Starfox.
The campaign will take you to diverse planets as you seek out the enemy's stronghold to restore peace in the Lilat system. Corneria is a planet teeming with life and the beating heart of the system. Ficina is a frozen planet with most of its surface covered in ice and snow.
Hit your own target, Fox.
Solar is the Lilat system's scorching hot second star. And Zoness is a deserted, polluted ocean planet that was stripped of all its natural resources.
Cool your jets, Cat.
There's also an asteroid field to navigate.
Persistent laser tech!
And the inside of a nebula. From planet surfaces to outer space, a variety of stages await. With free-flying dogfights in all-range mode.
Unit, don't let anything through. That flash
And massive boss battles. You can look forward to intense aerial combat.
Okay, they're keeping the same bosses that they had in the originals. So it's basically a remake with better visuals and what looks to be better characters. The thing, though, that kind of gets me is in many games nowadays, they add some type of upgrade system. I would have liked to have seen some type of upgrade system for the R-Wing. Okay, where you could have upgraded Peppy's R-Wing or Slippy's R-Wing or Falco's R-Wing or the Bushmaster, the Blue Marine. Some type of upgrade system where you had long... Now, in the game, you can get laser upgrades and shield upgrades. But I was talking about something more persistent. Like, when you're at your ship, you could spend points to get better shield generator or better laser focuser or easier charge shot, stuff like that. So I would have liked to have seen that. Okay.
We did it. All units, disengage.
Depending on the objectives you complete, the number of enemies shot down, and other factors, the route you take through the system may change. Replay stages with a different approach to find ways through that are off the beaten path.
You'd better be right about this, Falco.
I say we trust Falco's instincts.
You worry about your own.
Plenty of new cutscenes have also been added. These include never-before-seen mission briefings between stages, allowing you to learn more about the characters and the Star Fox universe.
Okay, that's cool. So they're adding new cutscenes, which will increase story, which will, also increase the lore of Starfox. So I'm all down for that. Okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I mean, yeah, it don't have like an upgrade system like, I think they should have added, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Team, how are we doing?
You can choose between easy, normal, and expert difficulty settings. When playing on easy difficulty, your shield gauge will be longer, and your lasers will remain powered up, making it ideal for novice pilots. In challenge mode, you can replay stages you've already cleared. Complete a variety of objectives that bring new challenges to each mission that you won't find in the campaign.
Defend the Allied fleet! Don't let any of them...
So basically, it's like a new game plus. Harder stages, harder difficulty, and you get, points for it.
Break through! We'll find out who's coordinating this attack.
Take on these challenges on either normal or expert difficulty. Battle mode puts you in 4 versus 4 dogfights. Players are split between Team Starfox and Team Starwolf. Then
Okay, so they're adding multiplayer to it. That's totally cool. I'm totally down with that. Okay, that's going to make things a lot more fun, especially if you have friends or if you just want to log in and just chill for a little bit. I think that's going to be a great addition to it.
compete to earn the most points by clearing missions and taking down foes. You can select from 3 stages, each with its own rule set.
Now, that is a little concerning because after a while, those stages could get boring. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, they do add updates and they do add more stages. Okay.
Take out opponents and seize control of the zone around the satellite towers on Corneria.
Starfox completed the objective.
Collect as many energy crystals as you can while dodging meteorites on Ficina.
Okay, so it's not just, kill the other opponent. It's actually got like objectives. So it's kind of like headquarters on Call of Duty or something along those lines. Okay, where your objective is not just to take out the other opponent, it's to fulfill some type of objective on that map. And each map has a different type of objective.
Or retrieve cargo from space pirates and take it to your base in Sector Y.
Starfox completed the objective.
You can create private matches with your friends online. Or match up with random players from around the world, making for...
Okay, so it is going to have matchmaking. Alright, I just hope that the connection is good and all that.
A variety of ways to join team battles. Plus, if one person has the game, up to 4 players can take to the skies locally with GameShare. Or online using GameShare via GameChat. By holding your Joy-Con 2 controller like a mouse, you can seamlessly swap to mouse-controlled targeting for intuitive aiming and steering.
Slippy!
Okay, so we've been hearing about that for a while now with the Nintendo Switch 2, that you could take your Joy-Con out and use it like a mouse. I think we're finally seeing the first game that's going to incorporate that successfully.
Stay in formation! Now you've done it, Slippy. Bogey on your tail!
By sharing one of the Joy-Con 2 controllers with a second player, you can split pilot and gunner duties in co-op.
So they are adding co-op. That's cool. Okay. Where one person can be the gunner, one person can be the pilot. That's kind of rad.
We're entering Corneria City now.
Andros sure has trashed the place.
target the lights on the left. You guys go right.
Alright, so we are getting some of the side characters back, like Kat. So let me just say that I liked what I saw, okay? And with me not having a next-gen console right now, that looked very enticing, okay? But what happens after, you know? Because this is basically a remake of Star Fox 64 with Star Fox Zero thrown in, okay? And there ain't nothing bad with that. I mean, there ain't really nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, is this going to be a one-off because of what happened in Mario Galaxy? Or is this going to lead to a more conclusive series? Okay. But I did get a trip out of it. I thought it was really good. It really surprised me that they decided to do Star Fox instead of, you know, Samus. Okay. That kind of surprised me. But it was good. I did like it. I did enjoy it. I think it looks to be a good game. And we're going to see when it comes out, you know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was your Geek Report for the weeks of May the 4th through May the 18th of 2026. To kind of do a recap of everything we talked about, we first started off in our movie and TV segment. And the first story we talked about was the Legend of Zelda movie being moved up by 1 week to April 30th of 2027. I talked about some of my concerns with that and overall what I thought about it. Then we talked about the fact that the Star Wars series Ashoka Season 2 has been delayed until 2027. I didn't really talk long about this because there's just so much going on at Star Wars, but I did talk a little about this and overall what I thought about it. Then we moved on into our anime news segment, and we talked about the My Hero Academia spin-off special, I Am a Hero 2, and how it's going to focus on one of the most tragic characters in the My Hero Academia series, Eri. I talked about how I think this is a great thing to kind of close out her story in My Hero Academia now that the show has finally ended, now that the anime has finally ended, and overall, how I felt about this overall. Okay. And then we moved on into our gaming news segment, and we talked about the announcement concerning Starfox for the Nintendo Switch. We took a look at the gameplay trailer, and I just gave you some of my overall thoughts and opinions on it. But that was your Geek Report for the weeks of May 4th through May the 18th of 2026. I hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are staying safe, staying well, staying healthy. Check out some of my other video sites as well as my social media. And I will see you guys in the next video and in the next stream. Laters.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of the Geek Report. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got a moment, please check out my other video sites as well as my social media and give them a like and follow. I will see you all in the next video and the next stream. Laters.